Hi everyone. This week I have a video for you on how I made this resin art tray. It's in a teal color. It was actually requested from a client who saw this red one on my website and asked me if I could replicate it in teal. And as anyone who's ever dealt with resin knows that it's not that easy to copy a design, but I did my best and I'll show you my process. So this is just a wooden tray and I have lacquered it with 2 layers of, I think it's a satin or semi-gloss spray paint, so 2 layers of it, and I am just covering it with some tape just to protect the top because I don't want any splashes. So I'm using Mrs. Colorberry in gold and teal, and this is a paste that I've had for a while, so I'm giving it a good old stir because sometimes it can get a little coagulated. What I end up doing is adding a little mehran powder because I just felt like it seemed to me to be a little matte, and I really wanted that gold sparkle that kind of lies on the top of resin work to make it look gorgeous and very elegant. So I'm literally putting a dot. A lot goes a long way when it comes to these powders. And what I've done there is I've let the blue sit in the resin for about maybe 10-15 minutes, just so it hardens a little bit. And the reason I do this is because if I left it to be very liquidy, it would just kind of like melt and merge into each other and just look like one big mess at the end of it. So I always add just a tiny layer of clear at the bottom, and my intention for this tray, like the original tray, was to have some black peeking out, some teal, and a touch of gold. I'm just tilting it ever so slightly. It does give it a nice effect to these metallics. And as you can see there, the blue pretty much stayed in place and didn't move very much. So it needs a little bit more blue. I don't want it just to be totally clear or gold. I did feel it needed more blue almost in each corner. So I'm adding some, and later on I actually have to make up some more. And that's a good tip. Always keep maybe a quarter of a cup full of clear resin in case you need to add more or make some more color up. And you can see this particular batch that I've done is much more fluid. And I can flow it better with the air gun. And can you see those splashes on the right? This is the reason why I tape it off just at the top. And I think it's nice to have both consistencies, a thicker consistency in some parts of your piece and then in another, maybe a bit more fluid. It gives different effects as it dries and mixes with the other colors. And I'm just blending it out. And as you can see, I didn't do too much, just enough, because it is liquid, and as I said, it can start to become muddy and murky. So I let it sit for about 10 minutes, just to see what happens with it, because as resin settles, it does its own thing. It changes. It's never exactly as when you placed it down. So give it about 10 minutes maybe before it totally cures. As you can see there, it is sticky. And that's just to blow out the air bubbles, which again, after about 10 minutes, they do start to rise up. But depending on your resin, some resins don't need torching very much because they extract their bubbles by themselves. And this is where I got a little, I would say, bourgeois, and I decided to put one of my crystals on, just on the corner so it wouldn't bother the actual tray. You can still put your cups and your glasses and whatever else you want to put on top of it. I just think it gives a really cute, elegant touch to the end, and actually my client loved it. I didn't tell her I was doing this. It was an artistic decision I'd made at the last minute, and I don't regret it. I think it looks lovely. So I have let it dry completely. I have put a top coat on it, and I have lacquered with a water-based varnish all around the edge of the of where it's black. And I've done this because if in case there are any splashes, you don't want your wooden piece to penetrate and ruin the wood. So it's got at least 3 layers, and I've added some lovely gold handles to it. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. Leave me any comments you have down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.